The European Union is to appeal to the World Trade Organization over anti-dumping tariffs imposed by China on the EU's brandy exports. Now, the EU says China is abusing trade rules. The extra taxes are seen as retaliation for EU tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. The actions have prompted fears of an all-out trade war. All right, for more, we want to go to our correspondent, Jack Perrick. He's following this story for us in Brussels. Jack, good evening. Tell me, why in the world brandy?
Well, that is the real question, and it's why France's trade minister says that the action by China seems to be retaliatory. That's because 99% of the brandy that China imports comes from France. And the context of this is just 1 week ago, the European Union decided to hold a vote on whether it should impose tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles being imported into the European Union. A lot of countries abstained. Germany voted no against that. France emphatically voted in favour. And now, 1 week later, a very French product, an iconic French product, which is seen as the sort of high end of French exports, is now being hit with these tariffs by the Chinese trade ministry. And essentially what it will mean is that French brandy that's imported into China, those importers will have to pay a 39%, up to 39% extra to import it into China, making it exorbitantly expensive. And so that's why the French are saying this is simply a tit-for-tat measure.
And how would this impact the growing tensions in what many people consider to be, a mounting trade war between the EU and China?
Yeah, I mean, it'll escalate them. The European Union has announced that it will take this to the WTO, that it will try and challenge this measure by the Chinese. For the brandy makers, this is pretty detrimental. We've already seen, for instance, Rémy Cointreau, which makes Rémy Martin, one of the big French brandy makers, shares in that company went down 8%. This is pretty major. And what you see is that when these sort of tit-for-tat things come in a trade dispute, they start to elevate and the pressure on governments from specific industries grows and grows and grows. The electric vehicle thing is a big issue for the European Union. It wants to create this green transition. It wants to use more electric vehicles, but it feels that the Chinese overproduction is being dumped into the European market and stifling European abilities to build its own industry in this sector. And so we're really starting to see an elevation of the tensions, the trade tensions between the European Union and China, which have been simmering away for quite a few years now, Brent.
DW correspondent Jack Perrick with the latest from Brussels tonight. Jack, thank you.